So Bitcoin's looking kind of cooked, huh? Doesn't it look a little bit like 2021, the top, the double top? Like if I put this over the chart now, doesn't it look a little bit similar to what we've seen before? Does that mean it's going to drop? And if it does, where's it going to drop to? I'm going to discuss in this video where I think it could potentially bottom out if it is going to drop. Otherwise, where it needs to flip in order to remain bullish and look for a new all-time high. I'm Matt. I've been trading Bitcoin since 2017, so this is potentially my fourth cycle top. Some of the signs are there, but I'm not entirely sure just yet, so stick around in this video and we'll discuss it. I'm also setting up a private Discord server. I'm partnered with Bybit for that. What you can expect in there is daily market analysis, daily trade plans, educational content, weekly live streams, and live trading. Doesn't cost anything. All you have to do is trade on my link with Bybit, which is in the description below. If you're in a restricted region, I've also got a solution for you there. As well as getting access to the group, you can also be in for a chance to win a PS5. We're going to do loads of prize giveaways in this Discord server. So that's the first one. Links in the description below. All right, let's get to the charts. Okay, so Bitcoin on the weekly, it does look topped, but it doesn't mean it is topped. So I'm just going to run through what I think. So we have a previous high here, and then we have a decision point down here. This is the extreme of the level, and this is the absolute bottom of it. This is the first area I think price needs to come down to and bounce from, which is at about 100K. On the lower time frames, we've talked about this in other videos as well. But if it fails to bounce from here, then the next level on this time frame is all the way down here at about 80K, which lines up with this previous fractal, which was from 2021, where we have the demand zone down here at the bottom at about 30K and the previous high that we're looking at. So there are similarities to the previous cycle and then this one. Does history repeat itself? I'm not sure is the answer, but we have to look at these levels from a pure price action perspective, and this is what is important on this time frame. Now, if we drop down to the daily time frame, we can see these levels a little bit more refined. So we have another high here that gets taken out, and the decision point to break that high is at this point here, which is at about 105K, 106K. I really like this level. It has bounced once already. It's bounced from the top of the level, hasn't bounced from the extreme, hasn't even been tested at the extreme. But I like the idea that prices will come down here, take out the previous lows, and then look for a reversal and build. That's kind of the bullish case for me. I still think it needs to come lower first before going higher, and that's a really nice level. And then on the daily time frame, we have this big low, which I was talking about on the weekly, which is a reaction to the level down here at about 95K. That's the whole level. So the top of it has been tested already. I would expect if it does come down here, it would come down more to the extreme, about 92K at the bottom of this level. So that's the next reversal point I'd be looking for if 105K doesn't hold. And I think that's a nice level. It's where the buying took place to come up and make these highs essentially. And if we just clean this up a little bit. So it is far away, but I just wanted to give us sort of a high time frame look at things. And then I posted a tweet saying that it could come all the way down to 75K, which is the next big major low on this time frame. Also, it's the bottom of this entire swing, which is what happened in 2021. So if that's to happen, it has to first break two big key levels, in my opinion, and it would take some time to get down there. I'm not sure if it does, but hey, that's what the price action is telling us. And then in order for me to think that things are not as bad as they seem, I would like to see this high broken. Obviously, it's close to the all-time high. It's close to the top of this pattern. But so far, this level has held us down. So it is where the selling took place to come and break this low and create this low. And then on a retest of it, so price fakes the high, puts in the low, and then on a retest of it, drops down. And it's dropped quite significantly so far. So on a retest of this level, we would like to see price flip it and then push to the all-time highs. I think it looks more destined to come down to this level here, about 105k first, but you know, the price action is quite choppy. The price action is going sideways a lot, so it's not given a huge amount of opportunities on this time frame. If we drop down to H4, get a few more candles and a bit more of a clearer picture, we can see a big drop happen from that supply zone, and it takes out this support level, and this is the area which is formed on the break of a key supply zone. And that supply zone was formed on the break of this demand. So it holds price down, flips it, puts in support, and then ultimately it gets broken and then retraces to put in this high before now coming down lower. This looks like a move back into supply, and the deepest I think it can go is up here at about 115, 116. It looks low volume. It happened on a weekend as well. So it looks to me like any highs are going to be lower highs for shorting, and I would target 105k first. So I'd be looking for price to come up a little bit higher and then put in some reversal signs for it to drop. But like I said before, if it's going to remain bullish, it needs to come all the way up here to 118k and start to flip that and look bullish. So that's Bitcoin. Okay, Ethereum on the daily. Let's talk about this high, which got taken out, and then a lovely continuation demand zone gets put in, which is now being broken. So the next level below that is one I've been talking about for a fair few weeks now, is this 3600 level, which is where the decision was made to come and put in a new high above this one. It is a key demand zone, and it is looking more likely that price is going to come down to it. So this is a nice place to start looking for reversals. This is a key level. However, if this level gets broken, the market structure changes, and then we're going a lot lower. So similar to Bitcoin, there is that level a little bit below at 3,400. This is the retrace low from this move. If that gets broken, then we have a little cluster here at about $3,000. And this is essentially a continuation pattern that happens on this swing. And it's where price gets held down by this level multiple times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And then it breaks on the 7th time and puts in this continuation pattern. So really, I would like to see it hold one of these 3 levels. Ideally, this one at 3,600. But I think the deepest it can go on this time frame is about $3,000, and then if it breaks that, then it's looking like a bad night for Ethereum. And can you imagine the smell if Ethereum doesn't put in a new all-time high in this cycle and capitulates after making this high just below 5,000? So I'm looking for this 3,600 level, and then if we go down to the lower time frames, we get a bit more of a clearer picture as always. And at the break of this big support level, we have a supply zone which is now getting tested. So if you're bullish on Ethereum, you want to have one of 2 scenarios. You want it to either come up and flip this level and start looking for long continuations in this move, which I don't think looks likely. This looks low volume to me. Or you want to see it come down to the next big support level and then hold and build and then move up, which I think is a likely scenario based on this price action. It's a clean level, and it's a very big level, and it has yet to be tested. So I think if you're looking short, 3,600 is a good sort of target area. I don't think you really want to be holding a short for too long, but it does look like it has put in a top. It looks like that kind of typical bouncing ball price action that you seem to get on crypto coins especially. So I'd be looking for the deepest retrace possible, and that is this level here before looking for longs. And then I don't really like this level, to be honest. I think the one below it, about 3,000, is much better. But the plan for the week on this time frame, on the H4 time frame, would be to probably sell any weakness after any move up has been exhausted, because it does look like it is low volume, and we look to have selling in control, especially after it faked the highs and is now dropping below a lot of key support levels. So on the hourly time frame, again, I would combine the H4 and the hourly time frames to know this is the big level where I want to do business in, and I would just like to see some sort of structure build and start to fail over the next few days before looking to go short. Now finally, Solana on the daily, and a couple of really key levels which I always draw out, which I really like. So we have this really big low, and then the chain, if you follow the chain all the way up, the sell-off, which took out that low, was here, and it gets tested, faked, and then drops back down. So I think it's at a really nice level. I think it's at a point which I've talked about in other videos where it could potentially bounce from. And if not, the next lowest level is down here for me. This is where the buying essentially took place to come up and test these highs and break the highs. But it's scrappy and it's been tested a couple of times already before launching. But what I've noticed about Solana is it likes to take out the highs and then retrace to the deepest possible levels. And there is a little level down here just below at about 160, 161 that's kind of holding up this level and hasn't yet been tested. So if it comes down here, I would be looking at it as a kind of a last hurrah. If it breaks, it looks like a market structure break after these lows and that a potential top has been put in. And then in which case, I'll be looking all the way down here to about 128, which again has been tested already and bounced and put this big swing in. So you wouldn't like to see some lower lows in this swing on this time frame really. But if we look down at H4, get a few more candles. So what we can see is this point here. This is the decision point, which is basically held up this entire move, which is now where price is bouncing from, which I've talked about last week and the week before. It is where the buying took place to come and break these highs, essentially. But it's been tested once, twice, and third time now. So it really needs to hold. And for this move to remain bullish, it needs to come up and flip this supply zone at about 224. And this looks the most likely out of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana from what I've covered today that has stronger volume. It's come from a deep demand zone and it's looking like it's bouncing quite cleanly off of it. So I would like to see it come up here and flip it and then look for long continuations. But ultimately, there's not enough price action for me to want to get involved at this level. It would need to come back down and build again over a fair few days before looking to go back long. But it looks to me that it also could come down here and put in a continuation short, and then I'd be looking down to like 175, but even deeper to about 164. That looks like the deepest level for this move before we could potentially find a bounce. But it's hard to ignore the fact that it's taken out the highs and it's put in a massive sell-off down into demand. We're at a late point of the cycle now in the crypto markets, and any bounces look weak. They look like lower highs before making lower lows. So again, I would probably look for something to build at any high and then look to short it. And that's on the H4 time frame. But on the hourly time frame, I still think mapping out on H4 at the moment looks wise, and then look for, again, some sort of structure to form and break to the downside before looking to take shorts. So what do you guys think? Do you think Bitcoin's cooked? Do you think everything else is at a bottom now, looking to potentially retrace back up? Let me know in the comments below what you think. And if not, there's a live stream at 6:30 p.m. UK time tonight where we can discuss this in a little bit more detail and have a bit more of a detailed trade plan. I'm also in partnership with Bybit, so if you want to win a PS5, if you want access to my private Discord server, there's a ref link in the description below. There are obviously restricted regions with Bybit, like the UK. So if that affects you, let me know. I've got a solution for you with a DEX that is also backed by Bybit, so we can get you involved in the group that way. See you guys tonight for the live stream. If not, the replay is available here, and another video for your viewing pleasure is here. And yeah, that's everything I wanted to talk about today.